Just before graduating from my senior year, the roommate in the adjacent bunk posted a WeChat moment to officially announce that she was in a relationship. She shared 2 photos. One was an intimate cheek-to-cheek picture, and the other showed a diamond-studded manicured hand holding a Porsche 911 purchase agreement. The caption read, "Overwhelmed with love." That single post sent our entire class into a frenzy, with everyone in the comments section expressing envy and jealousy. Clutching my phone, I was momentarily speechless. I took a closer look at the man in the photo. Wasn't this the same guy who had desperately begged to marry into my family and become a live-in son-in-law? My roommate's name is Wang Mengmeng. Before making her high-profile announcement, she had stayed out all night and didn't return until afternoon the next day. As soon as she walked in, the rustling of bags and packages woke everyone up. I sat up and saw Wang Mengmeng looking utterly exhausted, with dark circles that even concealer couldn't hide. Yet she stood before us with a triumphant expression. At the doorway, Yan Yan let out an exclamation of wow. The table was piled high with shopping bags from various luxury brands, all brought back by Wang Mengmeng. The arrangement was deliberate. The most visible bags on top were the iconic Hermes orange and Tiffany blue. Impossible to miss. But what seemed to please Wang Mengmeng the most was a polar bear plushie placed beside them. The polar bear was wearing a tiny red hoodie with a string of letters on it, starting with P. Just as our roommate Wang Qi was about to take a closer look at the gifts, Wang Mengmeng stopped her. First, she carefully took out a Tiffany double heart necklace and gently placed it around the bear's neck. Then, she spritzed the bear with Hermes's black lemon perfume. Only then did she look down at us and say, "You may admire them now." Yan Yan rolled her eyes slightly. Wang Qi, however, looked genuinely curious. "The bear must be from your boyfriend, right? You're taking such good care of it, Tilda." Wang Mengmeng scoffed and muttered under her breath. So ignorant. Such an adorable bear. What straight guy would have such taste? This was a gift from Portia for placing the order. Then, she sat down with a smile, crossed her legs, and dusted off her manicured nails, unable to hide the pride in her eyes. "My boyfriend took me to the Porsche dealership on Chang and Central Avenue just to pursue me. Have any of you ever driven a 911 on that street?" At the time, I was a bit skeptical. Wang Mengmeng wasn't unattractive, but even at her best, she was only a 7 out of 10. Her usual lifestyle wasn't particularly extravagant either. She didn't stand out in any way. For girls like her, rich playboys might send perfumes or cosmetics to keep them around for a while. But who would actually splurge on a Porsche for her? Yan Yan also found it strange and asked, "Where did you find such a great boyfriend? What does he do?" Wang Mengmeng bit her lip, trying hard to suppress a smile. "I only just found out too. It's a bit embarrassing. His family runs a large snack processing factory. The brand is Kian Chun." "Kian Chun?" I instinctively echoed. Wang Mengmeng glanced at me. "Yes, the chocolate sandwich cookies you often eat are from his family's company. Kian Chun Foods is in fact my family's company." Was her boyfriend an imposter? Or was someone using my family's name to pick up girls? While I was still puzzling over it, Wang Mengmeng went on, feigning helplessness as she explained to Yan Yan and Wang Qi. "My boyfriend is incredibly wealthy. He grew up eating caviar as a snack and goes through 4 or 5 boxes a day." I felt my toes curl in discomfort, almost as if I were trying to dig a hole through the dorm floor. Caviar is so high in fat, wouldn't a kid get diarrhea from eating that much? Suspecting she was being scammed, I wanted to ask for his name. But Wang Mengmeng ignored me. She picked up her phone and snapped several pictures of the bear. Then, she posted a WeChat moment with the photos, including a couple's selfie. When I saw it, I was stunned. Was this man really the boyfriend Wang Mengmeng was talking about? Wasn't he the same guy who had been relentlessly pursuing me just last week? Just because he knew me, he dared to swagger around and deceive others. And how dare he impersonate Kian Chin? Who did he think he was? But in my eyes, Wang Mengmeng was a shrewd person. How could she fall for such a scam? When we were first assigned to this dormitory as freshmen, she was the first to arrive. With her flaxen hair and heavy makeup, she played the part of a refined lady, politely holding the door open for me and saying in a sugary voice, "You're here, come on in." As I entered, Wang Mengmeng's eyes swept over me. I glanced down at my plaid shirt and jeans and asked, "What's wrong?" She chuckled lightly. Nothing, I just thought you looked quite simple. You must be easy to get along with. I smiled politely in return. I've always been a bit casual with my clothing choices, as my mind is usually elsewhere. Whenever my parents give me pocket money, I spend it on camera lenses. As I unpacked and arranged my things, she casually asked, "Classmate Lee, does your family grow soybeans?" I was taken aback. How did she come to that conclusion? Was it because my skin was tan from all the outdoor photography I did? Then she pointed to the bags of beans on my desk. Oh, those were bean bags I used to stabilize my camera. Just as I was about to explain, Wang Mengmeng's attitude shifted. If your family is poor, don't pretend to be something you're not by buying fake luxury brands. Her comment left me speechless. What do you mean? I wasn't poor, I wasn't pretending, and I didn't own any luxury brands. Wang Mengmeng glanced at the Gucci dead shoes I was wearing and remarked, "Since when can farmers afford Gucci? The real ones cost thousands. Look, yours are even coming apart at the seams. Gucci shoes do tend to come unglued when wet. They were not meant to be worn as rain boots after all." Seeing the confidence and disdain in Wang Mengmeng's eyes, I didn't feel like arguing. I simply nodded and said, "You're right." Leaning against the doorframe with a sense of superiority, Wang Mengmeng said, "If there are any brands you don't understand in the future, you can ask me." I sized her up. She was indeed dressed meticulously, in a little Chanel-style outfit and stiletto heels. She just didn't look much like a freshman entering university. I nodded thoughtfully. "I can tell you know your stuff." A smile flashed in her eyes as she eagerly extended her sleeve toward me. "This jacket is from Lane Crawford." "Ah, what Crawford?" Hehe. Wang Mengmeng chuckled condescendingly. "It's normal you haven't heard of it." When our other two roommates arrived, Wang Mengmeng similarly sized up their family backgrounds and checked for visible logos on their clothing. Then, she introduced me to them. "It seems Li Tingnen's family is the least well off. Tingnen, take my advice, never buy knockoffs. They're too tacky. In the future, if I have anything nice, I can sell it to you secondhand." And just like that, in the dormitory we became known as the rich girl and the poser. Wang Mengmeng was refined, while I was covered in fake designer items. Eventually, I moved out of the dorm and rented a place off campus. It wasn't until recently, with graduation approaching, and the busy schedule of thesis defenses and papers, that I moved back in. Over the years, Wang Mengmeng had changed quite a bit. She got double eyelids, a nose job and breast augmentation. The last traces of her youthful innocence were gone. But this time, when I returned, I brought a Hasselblad medium format camera to shoot graduation vlogs with my classmates, which attracted a lot of attention. Not wanting to explain to everyone individually, I simply said I borrowed it and asked them not to touch it in case it got damaged. When Wang Mengmeng heard this, she looked at me with disdain. Showing off with a friend's stuff, how pathetic. Yan, always ready for drama, chimed in. But isn't your Porsche also someone else's? Wang Mengmeng snapped. What do you know? The Porsche is going to be mine. It seemed Wang Mengmeng and Yan hadn't gotten along well over the years. I quietly put away my camera, still thinking I should find a chance to tell Wang Mengmeng that her boyfriend was highly questionable. When my dad was young, he started out with a food processing factory. One of the biscuit products was exported to Japan and unexpectedly outperformed the famous White Lover brand. Seizing the opportunity, my dad expanded by adding several production lines. I still remember how thrilled he was that year. But success attracts attention, and soon, distant relatives began cozying up, trying to claim a closer connection to my dad. Just as I entered my senior year, an aunt who works as an accountant at my dad's factory insisted on setting me up on a blind date. She described the guy as a rich second generation and insisted I meet him. I told her I hadn't even graduated yet and that dating felt too early. She immediately grew displeased. What's wrong? Don't you trust my judgment? This aunt is the decision maker in her family, and having worked as an accountant for years, she's quite assertive. Plus, she does have some insight into the factory's financials. Not wanting to offend her, I agreed. At first, the guy seemed okay. His name was Wu Dong, and his family also ran a food processing business. Though it was nowhere near the scale of Kian Chun, he came across as humble. The meal went pleasantly enough. Just as I was thinking he seemed decent, things took a turn. Wudong texted me. I think you're pretty great. I'm quite open-minded and not into male dominance. So, in the future, our kids can take your last name. I wasn't sure what he was getting at. Finally, he got to the point. My mom thinks that after marriage, it'd be best if the woman could provide a villa and a car as dowry. The car doesn't need to be too expensive, a Porsche would do. I stared at the messages, stunned. Wait, was he hinting at becoming a live-in son-in-law? Bringing this up so bluntly on a first date felt off. So I asked my aunt to turn him down. But Wudong suddenly dropped his humble act and switched from text to voice messages. Zhao Nan, I understand your shyness. I'll wait for you, don't be embarrassed. That's when I truly understood the phrase, average but confident. That evening, Wudong still wouldn't give up. He texted me. Come to Op Club for some clubbing. My treat VIP booth. The thumping background music in the voice message made my eardrums ache. I slowly typed out 4 words, politely declining. Around 11 p.m., Wudong posted a 9-photo grid on his WeChat moments, all selfies from the club. In one, half of a girl's long hair was visible. Curious, I clicked to look. In the photo, Wudong rested his chin on his hand, deliberately showing off the Jacquet Droz petite air watch on his wrist. Beside him, a girl's diamond-studded, manicured hand rested on his shoulder. I wanted to warn Wang Mengmeng. She'd encountered a player. And a stingy one at that. During our blind date, he drove a BMW 3 Series. On the first day, he was already scheming about marrying into my family. How could he possibly afford to buy her a top-tier Porsche 911? But Wang Mengmeng was completely swept up in the fantasy, utterly obsessed with Wudong. Even when attending lectures in the auditorium, she'd cling to that Porsche bear. She'd rubbed the bear so much it had developed a sheen. A few days later, I cautiously asked Wang Mengmeng, Mengmeng, did he say when the car will arrive? To my surprise, she abruptly stood up, shedding her usual ladylike demeanor. Glaring, she pointed at me and snapped, What do you know? The 911 is fully customized. Everyone has to queue up. Only when it's your turn do they start production. Then ship it from Germany to China. That takes at least 3 months. You think buying a Porsche is like buying groceries? How ignorant. Actually, my mom's 718 arrived within a month last year. Delays that long only happen when there's a sudden surge in orders. Before I could say more, Wonky chimed in, disappointed. So we won't see it until after graduation. Yan Yan added mockingly. If a man is willing to spend time on you, that's true love. Wang Mengmeng missed the sarcasm and happily pointed at Yan Yan. Exactly. Waiting for a car counted as his effort? After thinking it over, I cautiously suggested, Mengmeng, maybe you should check with the Porsche dealership. Wang Mengmeng rolled her eyes. Li Tingnan, are you just jealous? So sour. Huh? No, I'm not, forget it. Fine. Some people just can't read between the lines. Seeing my reluctance to back down, Wang Mengmeng retorted. Fine, I'll go. Who's scared? Early the next morning, Wang Mengmeng dressed up elaborately and insisted the 3 of us accompany her to the Porsche dealership. She claimed it was to add some fun to our college life. I thought maybe I could find a chance to talk to her there, so I agreed. But as soon as I changed, Wang Mengmeng criticized me. Li Tingnan, we're going to Chang'an Avenue. To a Porsche dealership. And you're wearing that. I glanced at my white t-shirt and shorts. What's wrong? This is all I have in my dorm wardrobe. With a look of disdain, she tossed me an embroidered white dress. Wear this, it's Prada. It looked too formal and girly for my taste. Just as I was about to refuse, she shoved it into my hands. Just wear it. Don't embarrass me. Sighing, I changed into the dress. As soon as I put it on, it felt itchy. When we finally reached Chang'an Avenue, Wang Mengmeng started nitpicking again, complaining about Wonky's dirty shoes and Yan Yan's worn-out bag. I urged, it's just a car dealership. They're there to serve customers. They won't look down on you because of this. Wang Mengmeng shot me a glare and snapped. You've never been to a place like this. Who are you to say? Fine. Fine. You have the Porsche bear, you win. At the dealership, Wang Mengmeng walked right up to a salesperson and greeted him warmly. Brother Wang, I'd like to test drive the latest model again. implying this wasn't her first visit. The salesperson looked slightly awkward but agreed. Wang Mengmeng approached a 718 and exclaimed, "Wow, this one's cool." The salesperson opened the door, and she immediately slid in, happily snapping selfies. But when it was time to get out, her expression changed. She fumbled around the door handle, her eyes darting pleadingly toward the salesperson. Wang Qi, Yan Yan, and I were waiting nearby. As Wang Qi and Yan Yan grew impatient, I leaned in and pulled the interior release strap. "Just pull this." Unexpectedly, Wang Mengmeng's face darkened. She glared at me and hissed through gritted teeth, "Do you think I didn't know that? Mind your own business." Her outburst drew everyone's attention. Truthfully, ID immediately noticed her discomfort. ID also had to ask someone how to open the door the first time I drove that car. I didn't see what the big deal was. But from that moment on, Wang Mengmeng refused to even look at me. When we returned to campus, she called a ride for herself, Wang Qi and Yan Yan leaving me alone on Chang'an Avenue. It was only when Yan Yan texted me that I realized they'd left. Back at the dorm, Wang Mengmeng exploded. She grabbed a Prada dress and snapped, "It's all wrinkled. Do you even know how much it costs to maintain this?" I'd finally had enough. With a cold expression, I transferred 2,000 yuan to her via WeChat. "The official website says this dress is made of pure cotton." I pointed to the rash on my skin. "You know exactly how much this actually cost. 2,000 is more than enough." Wang Mengmeng hadn't expected me to stand up to her. For 4 years, she'd been the princess, the pampered, wealthy beauty no one dared to confront. In a low, icy voice, she said, "Li Tingnan, are you trying to show off with your family's begging money?" I replied coldly, "Think whatever you want." Wang Mengmeng glanced at me disdainfully and declined the transfer. "I still have some pity for you. My boyfriend will buy me a new one anyway." Her boyfriend, the same one who wanted to marry into my family. Did she even know? Yan Yan couldn't take it anymore and chimed in, "But relying on a man, those things aren't really yours." Wang Mengmeng shot back, "What's wrong with a woman relying on a man? If Li Tingnan can't, it's because she doesn't have what it takes." Then, with a condescending tone, she added, "Choosing a man requires good judgment. If you're this lacking, don't worry about others." Wang Qi suddenly interjected, "What choice does she even have? She's just a plain girl in t-shirts and jeans." Wang Mengmeng nodded and said haughtily, "Li Tingnan, you've been acting weird ever since you saw my bear. You're either jealous of this or jealous of that. I can't stand people who pretend to be something they're not. Just wait until my boyfriend comes. You'll see." Hearing that, I smiled inwardly. You better remember those words. Once a relationship has cracks, the more you say, the more mistakes you make. I had done all I could for Wang Mengmeng. No matter how I tried to warn her, she wouldn't listen. But I never imagined her mind could be so twisted. The next day, I happened to come across a public announcement on a hospital's official account about opening appointments for the HPV vaccine. I remembered Yan Yan mentioning several times in the dorm that she wanted to get the 9-valent vaccine, but couldn't he secure an appointment? So, I forwarded the information to our dorm group chat and tagged everyone. After sending the message, I turned my phone to silent and headed to the library. Little did I know, I had just planted a landmine for myself. Around 10 p.m., after finishing my study session, I returned to the dorm. As soon as I opened the door, I could sense the tense atmosphere. Wang Qi glanced me over, then turned to warn Wang Mengmeng. "Hey, she's back." Confused, I walked into the room. I had barely taken a step inside when Wang Mengmeng stood in front of me, holding a cup of Chabadao milk tea, smiling without saying a word. "What's wrong, Meng?" Before I could finish, a thick, sweet, and sticky cup of milk tea was thrown right into my face. Instantly, I couldn't even open my eyes. "Li Tingnan, take a look in the mirror and see which of us is dirty." I was stunned. I had been pampered by my parents my entire life. When had I ever been humiliated like this? Without hesitation, I grabbed a bowl of leftover rice from the table and threw it back at her, shouting, "Who are you calling dirty?" Wang Mengmeng screamed and lunged at me, her manicured nails scratching my skin painfully. "Li Tingnan, you bitch. You cursed me to get HPV, and now you dare hit me." Hearing that, it finally clicked. Was that why? The vaccine information I had shared in the group chat made Wang Mengmeng think I was insulting her. Guilty conscience sees guilt everywhere. I pushed Wang Mengmeng away forcefully and slapped her back. That's for you. I hadn't bothered before because I was lazy. But even though I'm lazy, I'm not a pushover. Wang Mengmeng covered her face, staring at me in disbelief. The ladylike facade she always wore was completely stripped away as she screamed, "Do you believe I can have my boyfriend kill you?" It sounded like the biggest joke I'd ever heard. Let him try. She glared at me, her eyes burning with rage. Li Tingnan, who do you think you are? Killing you would be easier than killing a dog. Then, through gritted teeth, she added, "Oh wait, in my eyes, you're not even worth a dog." I narrowed my eyes and stared at her for a long moment. If that's how you want to play, then I'm all in. Let's see who ends up worse than a dog. The next day, I invited my aunt for tea. The location was a high-end private club owned by a friend of my dad's. Sitting on the second floor, I watched my aunt hesitate outside, too intimidated to enter. I slowly walked downstairs to meet her. At the entrance, a server in a black suit opened the door for me. "Auntie, over here." My aunt turned around, looking awkwardly around. The sophisticated space gray walls and the elegantly designed dome made it clear this place was expensive. Even though my family was well off, she was the elder, and she was afraid I'd make her pay. She hesitated, unwilling to step inside. I smiled and said, "Don't worry, I invited you, so I'll cover the bill." Only then did her expression relax slightly, and she nodded before following me in. The staff here were sharper than foxes. Every server in a black suit we passed bowed and greeted me respectfully. My aunt's expression noticeably darkened. Once seated, she asked coolly, "What brings you here today, Nun Nan?" I poured her a cup of tea. "Auntie, try this." She looked at me, picked up the cup and took a sip. I said, "This is a special reserve Da Hong Pao that my dad treasures." My aunt hesitated for a moment, then smiled. "What, as an elder? Do I need your permission to drink tea?" I smiled back. "Auntie, I'm just showing sincerity. I thought this tea was worthy of you." Her expression softened noticeably. After buttering her up, I got to the point. "Auntie, I just want to know what's the deal with Wu Dong, the guy you introduced to me." My aunt frowned slightly. "I saw his family's business flow is quite good, and the young man seems decent." Looking at her slightly uneasy expression, I understood. As an outsider, how could she possibly know his family's business flow? There was only one explanation: he was a supplier they worked with. He must have bribed her generously to get closer to me. Gripping my teacup tightly, I swallowed hard, reminding myself that she was my informant. After a moment of silence, I told my aunt, "Then please tell Wudong that I agree to this matchmaking. But I need to evaluate whether he's qualified." My aunt's head snapped up, barely hiding her excitement. Sure enough, she stood to gain more if this succeeded. "So, before anything is finalized, don't let my parents know. If Wudong treats me well, I'll convince them to give me a villa at Shiudidu, a luxury car, and 880,000 yuan in cash as dowry." Then I took out an envelope and slipped it into her hand. "This is for your trouble, Auntie." She felt the thickness of the envelope and tried to stay calm. "Don't worry, I'm good at keeping secrets." He, Wang Mengmeng, you like relying on men, right? Then I'll show you exactly what kind of man you're relying on. Back home, I casually used my mom's WeChat to add a few contact store managers of luxury boutiques. My mom's biggest hobby over the decades has been shopping. My aversion to luxury brands stems from being dragged along since childhood. She'd never call it a day until our legs were sore. Now, it was time to put all the loyalty points she'd deaccumulated over the years to good use. Starting low-key, I asked my sales associate at Christian Louboutin for a pair of newly released limited edition heels. Looking at the 5-figure price tag, I worried Wang Mengmeng might not be able to afford them. So, I also picked a more accessible pair. Back at the dorm, all 3 of them were there. Yan, and Wang Qi greeted me quietly. Wang Mengmeng just shot me a glare but couldn't help noticing the iconic red soles of my Christian Louboutin heels. Her eyes flickered with disbelief. After all, she was always the most obsessed with others' appearances. I walked over to the full-length mirror and admired myself. These 20,000 yuan heels are so comfortable, no blisters at all. Wang Mengmeng snorted through her nose. I turned to her and said, Meng Meng, those heels your boyfriend gave you last time didn't seem to fit well. I recommend the 2 pairs my boyfriend bought me. They're limited edition, so you won't see anyone else wearing them. I'm only sharing this with you because we're roommates. Yan Yan and Wang Qi blinked in surprise. Tingnan, you have a boyfriend too? I nodded slightly. Yes. But my boyfriend only buys me flashy, impractical things. Not like a Porsche, which at least can be driven around. Wang Mengmeng's back teeth seemed to grind audibly. That night I slept soundly. The next day, as expected, Wang Mengmeng skipped class. Where she went, I knew all too well. And I couldn't just sit idle either. In my contact list, my mom's sales associate replied, saying the Chanel fortune bag I ordered had arrived and could be delivered to me personally. I replied sheepishly, "You're too kind, little sister." Translation: You must deliver it. That evening, Wang Mengmeng returned laden with shopping bags, just like the day she got the Porsche. Her head was held high, a completely different expression from when she saw my heels the night before. When she tossed a pair of crystal velvet Jimmy Choos in front of me, I couldn't help but laugh. "Isn't this the pair they said in that Korean drama, only 3 pairs in all of Korea? So expensive, like 8,000 yuan, right?" Wang Mengmeng said smugly. "Money alone can't buy these." Wang Qi, ever timely, pulled out her phone and opened Taobao. "Is it this pair?" I burst out laughing. Wang Qi's nickname, Wang the Clueless, wasn't for nothing. Wang Mengmeng's face turned green as she sneered at Wang Qi. "What do you know?" Wang Qi, still confused but persistent, said, "But it looks exactly the same. It says monthly sales, 16. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. Wang Mengmeng snatched back the shoes and retreated to her bunk. Just then, my phone rang an unknown number. I put it on speakerphone. "Miss Lee, the Chanel CF ordered by Mr. Lee for you has arrived at the entrance. Could you please come down to the dorm?" Mr. Lee was my dad. Yes, my mom always uses my dad's cards. These sales associates know our family dynamics better than I do. As I was about to leave, Wang Mengmeng sneered. "A Chanel CF? You don't even own a decent bag. Who are you trying to fool with this act?" Wang Qi asked. "But weren't those shoes from yesterday also expensive?" Wang Mengmeng raised an eyebrow. "Don't listen to her. I took the photo to the store and asked. They said there's no such style." I chuckled coldly. "With your outfit, if you show them a photo of the most exclusive design, do you really think they'd bother explaining? Why don't we just go down and see?" Wang Qi was the most excited, immediately putting on her shoes. "Let's go. Mengmeng, come with us. You're the expert at spotting fakes, right?" Wang Mengmeng bit her lip, reluctantly following us. The delivery person was an exceptionally handsome young man. Yes, that was my request. When I placed the order, I had casually asked the sales associate who usually delivered bags to my mom. She immediately understood. But since we couldn't be too flashy on campus, the guy came alone, dressed in a perfectly fitted suit and white gloves, holding a gift box with the Chanel logo in one hand. "Miss Lee, it's an honor to serve you." The solemnity made it seem like the box contained ashes, not a handbag. Honestly, if Yan Yan and Wang Qi hadn't been beside me whispering, "Wow, so handsome," I would have wanted to crawl into a hole. My mom usually dealt with this kind of scene at home. Suppressing a laugh, I stepped forward to take the box. The young man bowed deeply at a 90-degree angle. "Miss Lee, I hope you like it. Next time, if..." I nodded repeatedly. Thank you. It's perfect. Next time, no need." Just as he was about to open the box, Wang Mengmeng interrupted. "Wait. It's just a bag worth a few tens of thousands. It's nothing to Chanel. And home delivery. Lee Tingnan, your act is too fake." The young man glanced at me, confused. "But Mr. Lee," Wang Mengmeng sneered, cutting him off. "Mr. Lee? Your boyfriend, right? Right? Don't hide him. Let's see what he's really made of. Besides, do you have a receipt for this bag?" The young man's expression turned cold. "Miss, the official invoice is inside." "Stop talking. Just authenticate it." The box was opened, revealing a black and gold Chanel fortune bag inside. Wang Mengmeng's eyes widened in shock. I watched coldly. Was a bag really worth this reaction? Wang Qi said, Hey, why does the bottom look bulgy? The young man smiled. Yes, Mr. Lee selected 2 Chanel bags for you. If needed, we also offer in-home consultations for all ready-to-wear items. 2. That's over 100,000 yuan. Yan Yan exclaimed excitedly. Wang Mengmeng stood silent, staring fixedly at the 2 bags. I smiled lightly. 2 Chanel bags were far from enough to crush Wang Mengmeng. I gestured casually. Wang Qi, Yan Yan, each of you take 1. My treat. Yan Yan reacted faster than Wang Qi, immediately shouting, I want the CF. Wang Qi dumbly took the remaining 1. Only Wang Mengmeng remained rooted in place, shrouded in a shadow. Nothing feeds vanity more than the gaze of others. After this, Wang Mengmeng had no choice but to compete with me. I wasn't trying to crush her, I was stealing her spotlight. Back in the dorm, Yan Yan and Wang Qi couldn't hide their excitement, subtly reminding Wang Mengmeng. Mengmeng, isn't your boyfriend pretty generous too? Yeah, Mengmeng. Don't tell me your boyfriend hasn't bought you a bag yet. Don't they say, the more expensive the bag, the purer the love? Wang Mengmeng looked like her eyes were about to burst with rage, but there was nothing she could do. I'd known her level since the day we met. Her knowledge of luxury brands came from second-hand social media posts, which was why she couldn't recognize the real thing when she saw it, and often wore counterfeits. Snagging was her only means and goal. Too bad she'd overplayed her hand. Rich playboys were more calculating than anyone. For girls like Wang Mengmeng, they were happy to take them out for meals and drinks, occasionally gifting clothes, shoes, or cosmetics. A watch was already considered a luxury. An 8,000 yuan pair of shoes yesterday was already stretching her limits, swallowing her pride along with the cost. If she dared take on 100,000 yuan, I had even tougher challenges waiting for her. I wanted her to see what real showing off looked like. If I decided to flaunt my wealth, would there even be room for her to stand? But Wang Mengmeng was the type who wouldn't give up until she hit a wall. All night, I could hear her tapping away on her phone. No need to guess she was begging her sugar daddy, right? I opened Wudong's WeChat Moments, and sure enough, there was a new post. The caption nearly made me laugh out loud. Think you're worthy? Worthy of what? That's the price of sacrificing your dignity. I calmly locked my phone screen. The next day, watching Yan Yan and Wang Qi gloat, Wang Mengmeng snorted. Can a bag even compare to a Porsche? But we haven't seen the Porsche yet. Just wait. Over the weekend, Wang Mengmeng tossed 2 Hermes Percotin bags onto Yan Yan and Wang Qi's beds. These are for you, much more practical than that little thing. She pointed at the small Chanel bag Yan Yan had carefully hung by her bedside. I took a sip of my oolong peach milk tea. Perfect, just the reaction I wanted. Wang Mengmeng had taken the bait completely. I smiled and said, our dorm is really filled with sisterly love and mutual support. Yan and Wang Qi were grinning from ear to ear. Seizing the moment, I invited everyone. Why don't we all go shopping together? 2 people competing, 2 people benefiting. This outing was definitely happening. Sure enough, Wang Mengmeng was almost breathless with anger, while Yan Yan and Wang Qi cheered excitedly. Yan Yan even generously offered, I'll cover the cab fare. Ah, if only we had a car. Hearing that, Wang Mengmeng shot Yan Yan a glare but still followed us out, wearing her newly bought Jimmy Choos. Yan and Wang Qi debated whether to carry the little Hermes or the little Chanel. I advised them to carry the Chanel. As for why only Wang Mengmeng and I understood. But Wang Qi still chose the Hermes. At the mall, I deliberately headed to the largest boutiques on the first floor. The kind that didn't have lines. Wang Mengmeng sneered at me. Why not look at jewelry? Can't afford it. I pretended to be surprised. Mengmeng, didn't you know? I plan to use my boyfriend's card to buy my mom a Hermes Kelly today. Wang Mengmeng laughed mockingly. How tacky. Hermes requires a purchase history and special orders. Do you think someone like you can just walk in and buy one? I feigned ignorance. Oh really? But Mengmeng, hasn't your boyfriend given you lots of Hermes? Can't you just buy one whenever you want? Wang Mengmeng took the bait. Of course. I'm just waiting for them to have stock. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, is that so? Then let's go check. Maybe we'll get lucky? Yan Wang Qi, come along. I'll get each of you a silk scarf. Actually, my boyfriend will. Wang Mengmeng glared at me, her knuckles turning white. As the four of us walked in, the sales staff eyed Yan Yan and Wang Qi, their expressions shifting noticeably. In the accessories section, I browsed item by item, accompanied by a sales associate who patiently explained each design, smiling throughout. But no one attended to Yan Yan or Wang Qi. To avoid awkwardness, they trailed behind me. Wang Qi even reached out to pick a style herself. Feel free to look, no need to hold back. The sales associate beamed, pulling out the latest orange trench coat. Miss, take a look at this piece. It suits your temperament, perfectly elegant yet youthful. With the season changing soon, now's the perfect time to buy. I held it up to the mirror. It's beautiful, but I think it suits my friend better. I walked over to Wang Mengmeng and draped the trench coat over her shoulders, exclaiming, Mengmeng, this looks amazing on you. You have to get it. As she studied her reflection, the sales associate gently added, this is 49,500 yuan, the latest style. Hearing the price, Wang Mengmeng tensed up. Yan Yan said, that's nothing for you, right? You could afford 2 piketons. Wang Qi nodded. It really does suit you. Here, try pairing it with this, a perfect match. She handed over her pikotin. At that moment, the sales associate couldn't hold back a soft laugh. Wang Qi looked confused. Wang Mengmeng seemed uneasy. Yan Yan wore a curious expression. I simply watched quietly. What's so funny? Wang Mengmeng's face darkened. People like her feared nothing more than being laughed at for being unable to afford something. The sales associate quickly apologized, waving her hands. No, it's just that this bag isn't from our store. Silence fell. It took Yan Yan a moment to process this. She gasped. Are you saying this pikotin is fake? Wang Mengmeng snapped. You're lying. This is... Wang Qi flushed and pressed. Is what? This was specially bought for me by my boyfriend. My boyfriend drives a Porsche, how could he buy a fake bag? I'll sue you for slander. I smirked. Arguing with a sales associate about authenticity while acting high and mighty. Good luck with that. Sure enough, the sales associate grew serious. Miss, this bag is indeed a well-made replica, but this stitching style has been discontinued for years. The strap attachment is the most obvious tell. If you don't believe me, I can show you the authentic version. Yan Yan and Wang Qi exchanged glances. Wang Mengmeng bit her lip, speechless. Humiliated, she tried to storm off, but I wasn't about to let her escape. Little sister, my friend actually doesn't like this style. She only bought these 2 as samples. What she really wants is a Kelly. What's available now? The sales associate glanced at me and pointed to the display. How about that gold brown 25? I turned to Wang Mengmeng. Mengmeng, you're so lucky. Wang Mengmeng was trapped. If she didn't buy it, all her efforts would be wasted. But she didn't have the money. Stiff-faced, she said, I need to make a call. 5 minutes later, she returned with red-rimmed eyes and uttered 2 words. I'll take it. As the sales associate went to get the bag, Wang Mengmeng stammered, not that one. I'll take the Constance instead. I watched her closely. She glanced at me, then quickly averted her eyes, explaining, I prefer the simplicity of the Constance. The Kelly is too mature. The sales associate looked slightly disappointed. Will you pair it with this trench coat then? Watching Wang Mengmeng's hands tremble as she transferred the money, I smiled inwardly. I knew Wang Mengmeng had gone to Wudong for help, because the 120,000 yuan was borrowed from me by Wudong on WeChat. I made him write a handwritten IOU. By that logic, I was now Wang Ming's creditor. Ever since my aunt relayed my message to Wudong, he'd been texting me daily, calling me baby and darling. The only way to tame a player is with money. I could snap my fingers and he'd come crawling like a dog. I texted Wudong. Let's go look at cars tomorrow. My dad said he'll give me a Porsche 911 as part of my dowry. Oh, and since we're preparing for the engagement, if you're short on funds, you can borrow from me. Once my dad gives me the 880,000 yuan dowry, we'll settle it between us, Tilda. I kept my tone gentle. Wudong was over the moon. Great. The fish was almost hooked. I couldn't let a gold digger slip away just because of a few luxury items and a Porsche. Wudong and I went to the Porsche dealership. After I paid the down payment, I showed the salesperson the order from Wang Mengmeng's announcement and asked, "What's the status of this order?" The salesperson looked disdainful. They paid the deposit but came back the next day complaining about the wait and cancelled it. "Oh, then please hurry mine along." "Don't worry, Miss Lee." Since I gave Wudong the green light to borrow freely, his appetite grew. He claimed he wanted to better himself to be more worthy of me. But I only agreed when Wang Mengmeng needed to buy something. Since the luxury showdown, our fractured dorm had settled into an eerie harmony, until the real 911 arrived. That day I sent Wudong a screenshot from Porsche's official website showing the car's production was complete. "Yay, the car's almost ready. Next month, we can start house hunting." Back in the dorm, I heard Wang Mengmeng excitedly boasting. "See? The car my boyfriend bought me is about to start shipping." The wait had been too long. Yan Yan and Wan Pi had lost all enthusiasm. They gave half-hearted ohs. Only I played the part of the wide-eyed admirer. Wow. True love is worth waiting for. Unlike my boyfriend, who only buys useless things. Who knows how long that'll last? Hearing this, Wang Mengmeng grew even prouder. Exactly. It's not about cheap trinkets, it's about who laughs last. I pouted, pretending to be upset. So annoying. Let's go look at jewelry. Otherwise, how can we make those awful men bleed? We've given so much. Wang Mengmeng smirked. Jewelry? Li Tingnan, you're getting greedy. Slowly, I pulled out a Van Cleef and Arpels necklace. But I already got one. If your boyfriend will buy you a car, wouldn't he buy you jewelry too? Same trick. Wudong borrowed another 280,000 yuan from me to gift Wang Mengmeng a Bulgari diamond-studded flower cluster necklace. Watching Wang Mengmeng's uneasy back, I thought, that's more like it. A few pairs of shoes and bags were nothing compared to my family's wealth. With 280,000 yuan, you finally glimpsed the tip of the iceberg. Doing the math, Wang Mengmeng now owed me over 1,000 yuan in interest each month. It was obvious that Wudong was the most generous sugar daddy Wang Mengmeng had ever encountered. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been staying out night after night, just to keep this patron on the hook. Although Wudong lied to me every day on WeChat, saying he was busy running business for the factory. Wang Mengmeng would clearly recount to the dorm room exactly which luxury hotel she and her boyfriend had visited. The feeling of having this godlike, omniscient perspective from behind the scenes was simply exhilarating. I had been waiting, expecting her to know when to quit while she was ahead. If she had stopped in time, she would just be a poor student who owed me over 400,000 yuan. But she wasn't satisfied. Wang Mengmeng made a high-profile announcement on her social media. Beloved boyfriend, together for life. The accompanying photo. The model display of Shu Imperial Capital. It garnered a flood of amazed comments. Marrying into wealth. I shook my head. How cool this. I recalled when I took Wudong to view the property, constantly encouraging him to take lots of photos to show his family. Without me, she couldn't even have stepped through the gates of a development that required proof of funds just to enter. Back then, Wudong was nodding his head like a chicken pecking at rice. I knew then the game was getting more interesting. I thought Wang Mengmeng would be as puffed up as a victorious hen all day long. Unexpectedly, the next day, she stayed holed up in the dorm all day, face pale, quiet as a mouse. Had she ... I was still wondering when I suddenly got a call from my aunt. How could you leak the news first? Your dad is looking for you. I was confused. Why? What did I do? My aunt sounded displeased. Didn't you agree not to tell your parents? How come your dad already knows about your scandal with Wudong? Shocked, I hurriedly rushed home. As soon as I entered, my father's stern back of the head was facing me. He turned around, revealing a weathered face. Tingnan, you're grown up now. How can you still worry me like this? Before he could finish, my aunt launched into a heart-wrenching performance. I advised her long ago. Who knew she would end up pregnant? Pregnant? What's going on? I was completely bewildered. My aunt said mysteriously, Wudong's parents have been spreading it around everywhere. Their son got the eldest daughter of the Li family in Qiantian pregnant. All their debts can be repaid. They even got their factory back. Debts? Factory? Only then did my aunt realize she had slipped up and quickly covered her mouth. Well, well. So the Wu family had been bankrupt all along. No wonder he had to borrow even a few tens of thousands from me. I looked at my aunt. Her eyelids drooped, avoiding my gaze. But her expression was remarkably composed. I had long known she was jealous of my mother. I never expected her to play with fire and drag me into it. I'll make sure my father fires her later. My father was glaring at me angrily from the side. You explain this clearly to me. With that, he pulled out a photo. It showed Wu Dong at the entrance of a hospital's obstetrics department, supporting a girl. That girl, ... was dressed from head to toe, exactly like me ... My father's face was red, his neck thick with anger. The Wu family sent me the diagnosis report. You useless child, see for yourself. He flung a stack of diagnostic reports in my direction. I looked through them one by one, growing more alarmed with each page. Gestation: 4 weeks. HPV -16 positive. Dad, this... I don't understand. My father raged. Pregnant. Virus infection. I looked up puzzled. I don't mean that. I mean, this name ... it's not me. The patient's name, though only the bottom part was visible, was clearly legible. Wang Mengmeng. My father's face flushed an even deeper red. He snatched the lab report back, looked at it, and then chuckled. Oh, it really isn't my daughter. Then his anger returned. Then how do you explain this photo? There was only one conclusion. Wang Mengmeng had stolen my clothes to wear when she went to the hospital for an abortion. After analyzing Wang Mengmeng's figure from the photo, my conclusion was clear. It had nothing to do with me. My aunt grew more and more uncomfortable, sitting there awkwardly. She said sheepishly, I just heard that Wu Dong's girlfriend slept with his clients to help him salvage several deals. I refuted it at the time, saying our Tingnan would never do such a thing. It definitely wasn't her. Well, now that the misunderstanding is cleared up, I'll be going. My father and I exchanged a glance and ignored her. But wait, when Wu Dong said he was busy with business, was he not lying? I never imagined that Wang Mengmeng, in her quest to one-up others, could sink to such depravity. I tightened my grip on my phone. It was almost over. On the day we went to buy the house, I earnestly told Wu Dong, as soon as we get the marriage certificate, your name will be added to this property. Next month is my birthday. It's the perfect day. The door code is the day we fell in love. 220,822. Auspicious, Wu Dong said. But we were ... It doesn't matter. 220,822. Auspicious, Wu Dong said. But we were ... the day. Is the day we fell in love. In my heart, it was that day. Looking at the exquisitely decorated model villa, Wu Dong was moved to tears. To secure this duck that had already landed in his mouth, Wu Dong specially ordered a diamond ring for me. When I opened the jewelry box, I delivered the performance of my life. Wow. I'm so touched ... A diamond ring ... double quotes. 1 carat, 1 carat, 1 carat. 1 carat. Probably enough to make even a cooked duck fly away. Seeing my moved eyes even reddening, Wu Dong asked cautiously, Do you like it? I love it. You must announce it on social media. Wu Dong's face instantly showed a hint of embarrassment. Post it? I nodded shyly. You know I'm shy, so when you post it, blur my face out ... Earring he didn't have to show my face or mention my name was right up this Playboy's alley. I'll post it right away. Just as he was editing the audience settings, I said pitifully, you can't show it to everyone. Wu Dong steeled himself and posted it publicly. Sure enough, the next second, I saw a like from Wang Mengmeng's avatar. I never interacted with Wang Mengmeng or Wu Dong's posts. I wonder how they'd feel if they knew they had me as a mutual friend. Wang Mengmeng commented, Can I look forward to it? Wu Dong, shielding his phone, replied, I'll choose the day with the most ceremony. It was a reply visible to all. I chatted with Wu Dong casually. I still prefer gold jewelry. They say Joseph's has a particularly good designer. Their craftsmanship is excellent too. We should get a custom gold and phoenix piece later. They say diamonds are an IQ tax. You spent too much buying a real diamond ring. Actually, no one can tell moissanite apart. Wudong listened, deep in thought. The next day, Wang Mengmeng actually ordered a two-tiered cake. It was decorated with a Porsche 911 and a villa, identical to the shoe model. Wang Mengmeng wore a smug expression. I'm getting married soon, so we probably won't have much chance to live together anymore. Wang Qi asked incredulously, Mengmeng, are you really going to live in a big villa? Wang Mengmeng's 20-year-old face was almost creased with pride. Yes, my boyfriend is going to propose to me soon. Yan Yan asked, isn't a proposal usually a surprise? Wang Mengmeng said coyly, what do you know? He already gave me the ring. With that, she pulled out from her bag a moissanite ring, identical to mine. Goodness, the Playboy's time management was no joke. In just one day, he'd managed to get a fake ring for his backup. I offered my hearty congratulations. Since she was so looking forward to a proposal, I simply had to oblige. By now, everything was falling into place. On the day to sign the purchase contract, I specially went to pick up Wudong. After touring the exquisitely decorated villa, even more refined than the model home, Wudong's breathing grew rapid with excitement. I smiled. The marital home is secured. Wudong moved to hug me. A wave of nausea hit me and I dodged. Don't rush. We haven't gotten the certificate yet. Wudong laughed awkwardly. That initial air of overbearing confidence had long been smashed to pieces by the lure of money. In stark contrast to his exhilaration was my worried expression. Wudong said tenderly, Baby, what's wrong? I sighed. Managing a villa is troublesome. Good housekeepers are hard to find. Do you know how delicate this furniture is? If no one lives here, it'll feel cold and empty. A shrewd glint flashed in Wudong's eyes. Don't worry, I'll do it. I'll be your live-in caretaker. I grinned. You're always the most considerate. That day I left Wudong at the villa and returned to school alone. That night, only 3 people were in the dorm. The next day, Wang Mengmeng returned carrying several high-end luxury shopping bags. She swayed her hips, humming a pop song. She dumped the bags one by one on the table. Givenchy ready-to-wear from the current season, Ferragamo heels. Even the underwear was Tom Ford. I looked at those bags, silently calculating the loan interest rates in my mind. Wang Mengmeng announced triumphantly to the whole dorm. See this? Pre-wedding gifts. Wang Qi peeked. Don't recognize any of these brands. Yan Yan asked. Don't they usually give the 3 golds for marriage? Is your bride price just these? Aren't you shortchanged, Mengmeng? Wang Mengmeng had tripped over her own boast. Annoyed, she said, Don't you worry. Nothing will be missing. My 3 golds were exclusively designed and produced at the Chow Sang Sang flagship store in Hong Kong. Goodness, she even copied that. I smiled. Hearing it was so high-end, Wang Qi and Yan Yan started questioning Wang Mengmeng again. Does the big villa have your name on it? Of course. Is the Porsche here yet? Long ago, the 4S is handling it. Look, here's a photo. He said he must let me show off properly. Then drive it over for us to see. What's the rush? When you come to our villa, it has a 3-car garage. You can see Porsches and Maseratis anytime tilde. The promise of a villa tour let Wang Mengmeng reclaim her pride and set her mind at ease. And look, my husband gave me Louis XIV roses. Pretty, right? Goodness, boyfriend had already upgraded to husband. With that, she showed a selfie on her phone, with the Shu Villa's greenhouse in the background. Ostensibly showing off flowers, actually showing off the house. Amid Wang Qi and Yan Yan's exclamations of admiration, Wang Mengmeng leisurely edited the pictures. Soon, a social media showcase of villa garden selfies was up. I just smiled without comment. She probably didn't know the security system I installed had recording capabilities. Everything she and Wudong did in that house yesterday, I have it all backed up. 3 days before my birthday, I invited Wudong to Be City's most famous vegetarian Michelin 3-star restaurant. As soon as I saw him, I pouted and whispered, right before getting the certificate, I've gotten fat ... Wudong stood there dumbly. Who says? You're the cutest. I ate the black truffle bamboo pith egg the server had just brought and said to Wudong, my parents said, Even though you're marrying into our family, I, the eldest daughter of the Lee family, shouldn't be treated shabbily. Tilda. Wudong put down his fork. Nanan, I'd pluck the moon from the sky for you. Whatever you want, just name it. Savoring the mushroom aroma, I said calmly. You haven't proposed to me yet. In 3 days it's my birthday. Wudong seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. I prepared the gift long ago. I'm good at proposals. No, I used to help my buddies plan them often. I have just one request. I want to be the princess, the center of attention for a day. Wudong caught his breath. No problem. I looked up at him. Do you know where I want it? Wudong shook his head. Normal University. Wudong was stunned. I never let him take me back to school, not wanting to expose things early. I added pressure. It has to be at our school. On the sports field, Wudong looked troubled. I said petulantly, I want to share my joy and happiness with everyone. Aren't you willing? Wudong gritted his teeth. How could I not be? I always knew my baby was beautiful, kind, and cultured. I smiled with satisfaction. Oh, take this 911 key. The car's already been picked up. You must drive it over then. Wudong nodded while frantically shoving food into his mouth, the server barely keeping up. I knew what he was afraid of. For the sake of his future happiness, Wudong really went all out. He hired the city's best wedding planning company to orchestrate an engagement ceremony. Yes, a ceremony. Money can make the devil push the mill. The school actually approved it under the theme of, In the Name of Love. That day, the entire sports field was surrounded by crowds. Thanks to Yan Yan and Wang Qi's extensive promotion, almost our entire class came to watch. After all, someone's showing off posts were set to public. Baby, happy birthday. With the birthday wishes, the entire open-air stadium was decorated with pink and blue balloons. In the center of the green field stood white candelabras of varying heights surrounding a firework display. The 400-meter track was lined with a full circle of flowers, white roses emitting a subtle fragrance. Next to the candelabras was an elegant white stage, resembling real Athenian columns. Below was a small marble-carved platform, surrounded by a few small stone-carved fountains. A white gauze curtain concealed the area behind the columns. Later, the princess would emerge from here in a white satin gown to receive the engagement ring. In short, every romantic element was present, with a strong exotic flair. While I didn't think much of it, I imagined Wang Mengmeng would love it. Everything was ready, waiting for the leads. When the stadium sound system connected, everyone erupted, including her, waiting in the wings. Wudong affectionately performed Jaishu's love confession balloon. Fireworks bloomed in sync over the square. Amid the crowd's gasps, a Porsche made a cool entrance. The SKR sound was like a screech. The car stopped beside Wudong, gleaming brightly. The excitement in Wang Mengmeng's eyes was almost overflowing. According to the plan, after Wudong picked up the bride-to-be, he would drive the car around the field once, tossing candy to the spectators. As the Porsche came to a smooth stop, Wudong slowly approached the stage, reaching out to lift the gauze curtain. As the fireworks faded, Wudong bowed and affectionately declared, "To welcome my future." My family's money was his future, right? The gauze curtain slowly lifted. A petite girl stood before the man, dressed in a white dress, her eyes welled with tears. Wow, ... Doesn't seem that extravagant though. Her outfit doesn't match the setting. Whispers and discussions spread through the crowd. Wudong himself looked as if he'd seen a ghost, his face changing dramatically, stepping back several times in succession. The girl emerging from behind the curtain was Wang Mengmeng. Their emotions were completely mismatched. Panic and chaos below the stage, fervent enthusiasm above. But the next second, Wang Mengmeng's expression also changed. Because everywhere, carved or displayed, was my name. The classmates I'd invited to witness the event were the first to voice confusion. Isn't this a proposal for Li Tingnan? Who's that? A cuckoo occupying the nest. I emerged from backstage wearing a silk satin white gown and diamond-encrusted dress heels, my long hair tied in a loose bun with a bling-bling stage makeup look. Standing beside Wang Mengmeng now, I made her attire look dull in comparison. Her heavy makeup appeared patchy under the lights, and she looked like an upright standing rag. Just as she was about to confront me, I made a shush gesture. I took a microphone. Wudong fun? Wudong stood there dumbfounded, completely lost. He reached out, face full of shock and regret. Only after Wang Mengmeng saw everything clearly did she realize what was happening. She roared, "Li Tingnan, you're shameless." She rushed forward, trying to grab my hair. I was prepared for this scene. My bodyguards instantly surrounded me, pushing her to the ground. Seeing this, Wudong shielded me, cursing at Wang Mengmeng. "What do you think you are?" Then he knelt at my feet, yelling, "Tingnan, I don't know her." "Really?" I snapped my fingers. A projected video began to play. It showed the two of them standing at my villa door, trying the code. Yes, the code I gave Wudong was wrong. He couldn't even get through the main gate. He called me under the surveillance camera, contacted the property management, and only then entered. Whoa, an uproar swept through the crowd below. Wang Mengmeng charged forward again, repeatedly questioned me. "I knew it. How did you suddenly get so rich? You homewrecker, shamelessly stealing my boyfriend." I looked at her coldly, turned off the main sound system, and played a recording for her. After some unsavory sounds, a conversation between a man and a woman played. Thousands watched in the stadium, now dead silent, straining to hear. "Don't wear it today either." "Oh, did you take the pill from the day before yesterday?" Good. You still have to accompany Manager Zhang tomorrow." "Adong, I need to tell you something. Whatever it is, tell me after accompanying Manager Zhang. I really can't do it this time." "Why?" I'm pregnant." A silence. "Don't get rid of it yet. Later we can blackmail that guy surnamed Song. Make him pay more." Wang Mengmeng's voice was tearful. "It's yours." Wudong was ice cold. "How can you be sure?" Wang Mengmeng started sobbing. Wudong cursed. "Other girls get a big payout when they get pregnant. How can you be so stupid?" Wang Mengmeng's sobs gradually subsided. I whispered to Wang Mengmeng. "Wudong probably doesn't know he's already the biggest fish, does he? Have you ever considered the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the aureole behind?" Wudong had lied to Wang Mengmeng, saying he'd throw her a party at the villa on my birthday. Actually, it was just to get her out of the way on the day he planned to propose to me. However, dorm mates Wang Qi and Yan Yan, at my enthusiastic invitation, went to the sports field for morning exercise every day. After the wedding planners started setting up, the two took pictures of the early preparations. Look at the date. Isn't it the same day Meng Meng's boyfriend is planning the big surprise? Eureka! You've found the key point. Quick, tag Meng Meng. These messages thus reached Wang Mengmeng's ears. Full of anticipation, she specially went to inspect the sports field, even asking the student union if this was happening. On the other hand, she bragged non-stop in the dorm, saying she'd been tracking Wudong's movements and he really had been visiting many wedding planning shops. So, she decided to stay at school, waiting for Wudong's surprise. Only it turned into a shock. After hearing the recording, Wang Mengmeng completely lost her temper. She shouted and raged before me, her voice almost gone hoarse. If not for my bodyguards, my face would have been scratched by her manicured nails. "Li, you broke the law. You violated privacy. I'm gonna sue you. Put you in jail." Looking at the person before me, I only felt pity. "Wang Mengmeng, the person you should sue isn't me. Inciting prostitution is illegal. With this recording, Wudong will pay the price. You can choose how to proceed." Wang Mengmeng wouldn't listen. "You're just jealous my boyfriend is rich. You seduced my boyfriend. Spending my boyfriend's money, you're so shameless." I sneered, throwing out the real estate certificate for Shu Imperial Capital. "Wang Mengmeng, look clearly. The house is mine. So, did you trespass, or did I violate privacy? In this world, not everyone shares your hobby inflating the value of pigs. Haven't all my efforts taught you this lesson? If you keep ranting, I'll turn on the audio system and play this recording for everyone." Wang Mengmeng froze, no longer daring to resist me, but still deluded. Crying, she ran to Wudong, clinging to the Porsche door. "Wudong, take me away." Wudong kicked her away, his eyes filled with loathing. His dream of marrying into wealth was shattered too completely. Yet he wanted to blame it all on women. Typical scum. So I crooked a finger. Seeing this, Wudong immediately knelt before me. Nanan, I was wrong. Please forgive me. I'll never touch these dirty things again. I really wanted to hand Wudong a mirror right then. I said, urinating in public is indecent. I suggest you look at yourself first to see who's the dirtiest. Also, my dad just called. All the funding you attracted using my family's reputation has been withdrawn. If you don't want to go completely bankrupt. Wudong collapsed with a thud. Collapsed and sat on the ground. Wang Mengmeng didn't know my family background. Even at this point, she refused to wake up. Adong. Stop begging her. She only seduced you to get back at me. She's jealous. I almost died laughing. I'm jealous of you. Slowly, I pulled the Porsche key from my clutch. As for this car, I pressed the key. The Porsche chirped in response. ... It's single quotes also mine. Hearing the sound, Wang Mengmeng finally fell silent. I walked over, took out my phone and sent her a few pictures. Please keep a copy of these IOUs. If you can't pay them back, you can start by pawning all your luxury goods. Having said that, I looked at the flashy, diamond-studded shoes on Wang Mengmeng's feet that clashed horribly with her white dress. The IOUs completely despaired Wang Mengmeng. Everything she had fished out from Wudong was actually debt I had provided. Wudong rushed over, snatching the jewelry and shoes from Wang Mengmeng and handing them to me. Nanan, look, these, can they cover the debt? Looking at this despicable pair, I said coldly. Throw them away. A pair of worn-out shoes. Epilogue on graduation day, Wang Mengmeng didn't show up. I heard from the counselor she had taken a leave of absence and returned to her hometown. Some said they saw her working as a cashier in a county supermarket. Others said she married an older man who owned a hardware store. Truth or rumor, no one cared anymore. After the Wu family factory was acquired at a low price, his father had a stroke from anger and was hospitalized. Wudong himself was placed on file for investigation on suspicion of organizing prostitution and financial fraud, reportedly involving millions. My aunt was fired from the company and tried to make a scene at our house. Security dragged her out while she was still shouting, "We're family." My father said coldly, "From today, we're not." Yan Yan and Wang Qi, however, benefited from the disaster. They turned the experience into a web novel that unexpectedly went viral. Now they're minor celebrities as authors. At the graduation party, Yan Yan raised a glass to me. Tingnan, thank you for letting us see that mountains can crumble and people can run. I clinked glasses, smiling. And thank you for letting me know friends are more precious than luxury goods. Later, I often wondered if Wang Mengmeng had channeled the energy she spent studying luxury goods into the right path, the effort she used to ingratiate herself with men into improving herself. Would the outcome have been different? But life has no if. Just like those Jimmy Choo shoes tossed on the sports field. No matter how shiny the fake diamonds, under the sun, their plastic nature is revealed. And I finally understood. True confidence is never given by others. It's the paths you've walked, the books you've read, the money you've earned, and that version of yourself who can live splendidly without ever depending on anyone. End.